The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Good evening out there to all my brothers and sisters of the night. You're listening to Talk Live Paranormal with Shannon and Mr. Bill. I am Mr. Bill. Unfortunately, Miss Shannon is sick. She will not be joining us this evening. But you know, we'll get through this. We'll make it through. We sending her all the wishes and well wishes so she can get better. I want to say a big thank you like we do every week, but this one means a little something special this week to all the men and women serving out there in the armed forces. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, National Guard, Reservists, it doesn't matter. If you put on that uniform and you wear it with honor and you wear it with pride, thank you. Thank you very much for your service. You guys, you give all for little and don't ask much in return. And thank you to all the veterans out there. Thank you to each and every veteran that served their time, gave their sacrifice, did what they needed to do to allow us to be free and be safe. But I also want to say a big thank you out there to all the men and women who are husbands, wives, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers, cousins, aunts, uncles, the families that are back behind here. You guys serve just as much as we do when we serve. And sometimes there's not enough thanks given to you guys. So thank you very much for keeping things going back here at home, keeping the home fires burning, keeping the pride and the traditions going all the time. I want to thank you very much for that. You guys, this is the best place in the world to live. I know there's controversy going on. He said, she said, this report, that report, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? It's you guys that truly, honestly matter. The ones on the front line and the ones on the home front line. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So tonight's show, I wanted to pick up a little bit where we left off last week. Last week we ended the show talking about a different meditation, and we kind of walked through a couple different meditations. We've talked about meditations that help you to get ready for an investigation, but some of these meditations that we talk about also can help you through each day. They can help you with a lot of your life. They can help you get just relaxed. Just if you can center yourself, whether you're at work or you're with kids or you're at home or you got a stressful life, things aren't going right here and things aren't going right there. Try meditation. It helps. You want to center yourself. First one we talked about was grounding yourself. There is, and I'm just going to give her a little bit of a plug. It's called, if you look it up, it's Medium Laura Evans podcast. And she has some amazing meditations out there. They really work. There's some of them, I still think about them when I go to bed. And sometimes they help me sleep because I don't do a lot of sleeping these days. But there's also some ones she has out there that help you with your grounding. Grounding is the key. Bringing your life center back to that chakra in the middle and getting yourself focused. Now, whether you're focusing on your religion, whether you're focusing on just you, whether you're focusing on your lifestyle, whether you're focusing on whatever, focusing and getting yourself centered is the key to the whole thing. You know, we all have problems. We all go through everything in our life. Money, love, kids. Sometimes the kids and love don't go together sometimes. But everything we do, if we're confident in ourselves, then we'll be confident in what we do. So again, going back to the meditation, that grounding meditation is a great one. That stairwell meditation, I only keep wanting to say medication, but I guess it is a form of medication. You're medicating your mind mentally instead of a physical medication. Anyone can do it. It just takes practice. So tonight I'm going to dwell it down. I'm going to chop a little bit more off the edges of the different styles of meditation. There it goes again. I can't stop saying medication. The different styles of meditation. We're going to focus in on one reason to meditate, and it's what we do here: paranormal investigations. What is there one type of meditation that's really good for paranormal? If you take a step back and remember, we talked about grounding, but overall, the meditation you really need to do is where you can get your mind to reach a blank state, completely blank. You almost want to be able to detach from your human emotions. And I don't want to sound like Yoda here, but you want to meditate to the point to where you're almost reaching out with your feelings. You're stretching out as far as you can with your feelings, and you're bringing them. It's what you bring back into you, and what will come to you. And you want to get as far away from your human emotions and worries during your meditation. Blank your mind out. Lose all expectations of what you want to see, or hey, they said there's a little girl running around in here. Oh, we got to meditate. We got to open our minds so we can see her. Open your minds, period. Open them up. Let people see. Well, not let people see. Let it your mind so it can see other things. You could hear things, smell things, taste things. There's just so many ways of opening yourself. One of them that I've learned lately is you must master the art of almost chanting with your mind, so that you can chant with your mind words just in case something goes wrong, and then you can pull yourself out. You want to be able to say words in your mind that you won't say with your mouth. And I know that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but you just want to think of them. Now, there's one that, sorry I'm moving around, my legs are kind of hurting tonight. There's one that the Om Mani Padme Om is a great way. It's Om, O-M, Mani, M-A-N-Y, or Mani, Padme, P-A-D-M-E, H-U-M. Om Mani Padme Om. Learning to keep that in your mind and keep that going helps you to relax. They're a form of sacred words is what they are, and I don't actually remember what they mean, but they allow you to try to relax more and open up. Now, do I say you want to use this kind of a meditation to sleep? Probably not. The meditation you want to use for sleep is where you can look back in on yourself and feel your own. I guess the easiest way is that you're tired. You're almost turning your brain off. That's one of the keys, is turning all these electronic things off. Even for meditation, to go for a paranormal investigation, turn off all that stuff around you. Get away from everything. Get back to nature. Nature's the key. Again, we talk about different spirits and entities being out there, and they are the key, but they're nature. It's energy. It's all energy that surrounds us and binds us and brings us together, and that's what you want to bring. I guess I am starting to sound a little bit like Yoda. But it's if you think about it, the way they talked about in the movie, the force. May the force be with you. May you have to open your mind and open your thought pattern and get yourself clear to be able to reach out with your own feelings and see things and feel things. It fits perfectly with the paranormal world, because that's what we're all trying to do. We're trying to hear, we're trying to see, we're trying to taste, we're trying to touch, we're trying to feel. We want that energy. We want that paranormal energy to be seen by it, be there so we can see it. Now, I know everybody wants to see it. They want to physically see it. But to me, there's other ways of seeing. That third eye, we talked about that right there. That third eye. Just rubbing it and tapping it and trying to get it to open up. As you picture the lights and the energy and the love and the light coming into your system and everything's there, you want to be able to see with that third eye. Reach out. Feel it. Know it's there. Know that something is there for you to grab onto, hold on as tightly as you possibly can. So, try it. Try the meditation. Work it. Find the meditation. It's not going to work right away. That's one of my problems is I want things to work now. I don't want to wait. I want to get things done. I want things working. I want things to go the way I want them to go. But life doesn't always go the way we want it to. And as everybody knows, for whatever you do in life, you really have to slowly take it on. Take it on little baby steps. Allow it to come to you naturally. Allow the meditation to sink in naturally. Allow yourself to open up. Meditation comes in many forms. I know some guys that are more relaxed sitting on a lawnmower driving around. I mean, look at Forrest Gump. He was pretty relaxed. I'm saying, he mowed that lawn for free. He did. So, allow yourself to find that meditation point. Allow yourself to find that relaxation point that you get to in your life that allows you to be more relaxed and more open with your self-conscious. Then you learn to open it up even more and allow more things to come in and allow things to see. If you can do this, and I'm going to use MISA and the Missouri State Pen, if you can open yourself up a little bit at the Missouri State Pen, and I know this because we've done this, we do Missouri State Pen all the time. If you can open yourself up a little bit and allow yourself to relax and allow yourself to be open and allow yourself a little bit of, for lack of better terms, a little bit of freedom mentally, you will see and feel and hear so much in that place. Not just the bad things, but you'll actually you'll see things walking around. You'll see people that aren't there. You might see a crawler down there in the dungeon area or down in 3D, and you'll start to. Sometimes we tap into this emotionally, where we have some people that have sat there and all of a sudden they want to cry, and they have no idea why, and it just feels so sad. Some people want to fight. The night of the anniversary of the riots down there, we had a lot of people that felt scared. They were really scared about nothing. They were standing there talking, and as we talked about the riots, and as it hit midnight, it became that day of the riots, and we were talking about the different things and the way things happened. We tried a meditation, and we tried to get everybody to relax as much as they could. And as they were there, people were feeling, I'm scared. I don't know why. I'm antsy. My skin is cold. It wasn't that cold in there, I didn't think. It was chilly outside, but it wasn't freezing inside. But everybody just started feeling this anxiousness and then this being scared and not knowing why they felt that way, because they hadn't felt that way all night long. Excuse me. So it does work. It just takes some time. Again, don't rush. Work at it. Leave your expectations away, but work at it. Work at it slowly. Take those baby steps to understand different things. Take those little tiny steps in your journey that are going to allow you and everyone around you to be more open. So, again, that Laura Evans was a great one. She was an awesome medium. I think I put the link in with our stuff. I'll do it again here on our Facebook page, which is Talk Live Paranormal with Shannon and Mr. Bill, if you want to join our Facebook page. We had a comment earlier on, and it took me a while to think about this, of what's really behind a paranormal experience. So what's really on the backside of it? And that dwells in with the whole, looking at the emotional side of it and the spiritual side of it. What's really on the backside of it? A lot of times, believe it or not, it is a spiritual thing, but not a spiritual as in ghosts. It's more of a spiritual. How do I want to say this? It's more of a spiritual internal when it happens. People often look at different things and understand why, to try to understand why paranormal is such a big deal. Well, one of it is people, whether it's your wife, your son, your daughter, your mom, your dad, the guy who works with you, a lot of people have had paranormal experiences in their life, and they just don't know. They don't want to talk about them. Or they don't know how to talk about them. So if you take back why, let's say, why are people so drawn to the paranormal beliefs? Well, one is they all have paranormal experiences. Try to understand why we have these. Trying to understand why these experiences, given that people say spirits don't exist. People say spirits don't exist all the time because most people are physical people. And physical in the, I can see it, I can touch it, I can smell it, I can taste it. It's physical. But then something happens to them, and they don't know how to explain it. They're non-believers, but they want to believe what they don't believe what they believe in. But they believe what they don't believe in, and then they don't believe what they believe in. And that just really lost me there for a minute. So, if you hear people talking about it, then some people, you can get some people talking and they'll be like, yeah, I don't believe any of that stuff. I don't believe any of that stuff. But one of the biggest things is people are always saying to us is, so are you a believer? You do this, so you must be a believer. Or are you a non-believer? Because you can only believe or you can't, or not believe. That's not true. Because I'm still in the middle. There are certain things out there that, yes, I'm very skeptical about. I don't understand them. There we go. I can't reach out and touch them, feel them, taste them, grab them, or smell them, or see them. But there's something there. There's something in the back of my mind that's saying, I believe it, but I don't believe it. But I'm also going to debunk the crap out of it if I can. And if I can debunk it, then maybe, just maybe, it doesn't exist. Now, is it easy to debunk? Sometimes it is. Sometimes debunking is the easiest thing in the world. But remember, when you start debunking things, your mind starts going, maybe I'm believing this a lot more than I thought I did. Because I heard a bang, a pop, a click, heard a footstep, but I'm alone. Is the wind blowing? Is the fireplace going? Did the furnace just kick on? Did the air conditioner just shut off? Did the cat just fall off the back of the couch when I pushed him? Probably. Did the dog fall over laughing after I pushed the cat off the back of the couch? Probably. Did something happen? So I'm constantly looking out for what could have made that noise? What's out there? What could have made that happen? What could have done that? Let me see. Can I look around? Is someone standing in my closet right back here? Right behind me? I just got a chill running. I'm going to look in the closet real quick. Nope, nobody's in the closet, I hope. If something were to come out of that closet, Larry, you got to tell me. Because if you're watching, whoever's watching, if something comes out of that closet right there on Facebook, y'all better tell me. Or if them clothes start to move. Because our furnace shouldn't kick on. But back to the thing. If something starts to happen, then I got to debunk it. But what happens when you try to debunk everything and there's nothing left? There's no debunking left. There's nothing else there that could make that sound or that smell. Then what's left? What's left is me going, maybe. I'm going to watch my video, though. Again, I'm trying to prove it. So, we've all become, I'm a skeptic. There's certain things I'm very skeptical about. One of them being, it's a bad subject, but Ouija boards. I don't believe in those things. I don't believe they exist. But yet, then I use some other equipment that could be construed as the same as a Ouija board, just not a physical piece of something moving around on something else. So, understanding what I'm seeing and hearing and feeling is the biggest thing of all. Trying to get my brain to understand it is the hardest part. And that's what happens with a lot of people. We get a lot of people that come into our investigations that go, I'm just here because my wife wants to be here. So those are the people that usually on our investigations come out with the biggest experience of everybody. We've had several husbands that come in and go, yeah, she paid for it. I'm just here with her. We had a couple up at Edinburgh Manor, two husband and wife groups. And before the evening was over, or before the night was over, the wives were actually sleeping and the husbands were still running around trying to get stuff. And the husbands were the ones that were saying, go out and go do something. You wanted to be here. And they didn't actually believe in any of this. But yet they stayed up all night long, running around going, I think we caught something. Now, was there mind playing tricks on them? Were they just trying to, see too much? I don't think so. I believe that their mind was already in that, they were already in that mindset of, I don't believe this. So if I don't believe it, nothing can happen. And then something happens. Something jumps out at them. Or a noise is made. And they go chasing down that noise. Well, then they can't recreate the noise physically on their own. So they wait. And then the exact same noise happens back down the other end of the hall. So did we pass it? Well, let's go all the way down, and then we'll come back halfway and wait. Or they go all the way down and they wait down there, and then it happens halfway down the hall. Or back down the hall, but they know it wasn't as far as the last time. So they come halfway down the hall and they sit and they wait. And then one hears it at one end of the hallway and one hears it at the other end of the hallway. So, what are they hearing? What are they feeling? One of the greatest tricks that we've ever played on ourselves is telling ourselves that certain things don't exist. We trick our minds every day on certain things. Some people can tell themselves that it's not cold outside or they don't feel cold. So they run around in shorts all winter long. Or some people love the hot. Or the humidity. Or they don't allow themselves to get angry when they know they're mad. And controlling your own anger. First of all, if you can control your own anger, you're doing a whole lot better than me. I can control mine to a point till I'm driving, and that's when I'm the worst. I don't get road rage. I get pavement pissed. So, we won't go into that tonight. So, what is if you believe in the paranormal, what does that tell us psychologically about ourselves? What does that tell us? I think each thing tells us something a little bit different. If you look at something like sleep paralysis, the notion of waking up completely immobile and not being able to move and seeing a figure like at the foot of your bed, and you're convinced that it's an evil or demonic spirit and it's holding you down. The force won't allow you to get up. It actually tells you a lot about your psychology of sleep. When you're asleep, we're paralyzed, so we don't act out our dreams. Our body does that to our own. And in the dream experience, you can walk with your dreams alongside with your. Let me rephrase that. The dream experience can come over into walking along. That doesn't make any sense. I was reading something here. That doesn't make any sense. But when you're paralyzed, if you've ever dealt with sleep paralysis, or not even really sleep paralysis, where you know you're awake and you're staring at someone and they think you're asleep and you can see what's going on. That's the weirdest thing. Your mind has tricked itself. So psychologically saying, there's some people that are more scared and get more anxious and more scared than other people. They get startled easily. They're jumpy. They're I don't know what we're going to do here. But there is the whole process of how you lived your life. You have tricked your brain already. You stopped things from happening. We always talk about, why do people all of a sudden stop or I don't believe in this. I don't believe in the paranormal. Did you ever? People sometimes will have to think back and go, I don't know if I ever did or not. I don't know if I ever believed in the paranormal. But then I always use the analogy of, we all had, almost everybody, had an imaginary friend when they were a child. Was that an imaginary friend? Or was that your first encounter or your first spirit guide helping you through your life at that stage? Helping you to be a better person, helping you to learn certain things of what you shouldn't or should do, or just trying their best to guide us to be a better person, period. But then we go on through our life and we get into our adolescent years, and parents start going, knock it off. That person's not here. They're fake. They're not real. It's an imaginary friend. And we start to block them out. Now, does that mean we're shutting that third eye off? Because I know when I look back that I had an imaginary friend. I watched him all the time. I saw him all the time. Of course, he was playing with the kid across the street because he didn't like me. But, I saw him over there. I could look over there and I could see him playing back and forth. But then I pushed it away. Now, was that my third eye that I was using to watch that? Or was that my brain just imagining things? I don't know. But then we moved on later on in life, and things happen, and we forget about that part of us. There's a lot of kids out there that even today that are going through things. And I'm going to use young ladies, for instance. When young ladies hit puberty, they hit it a lot harder and a lot stronger than men do. Or when boys do, because, they're going through some major changes in their body. When that time hits them each month and they're not sure what's going on, or they know what's going on, but they're not sure how to mentally or sometimes physically handle it, does that open them up to maybe seeing more? You know, we've heard stories about people who things are going wrong in their homes, and we go to homes all the time and help investigate, and people talk about things are going crazy. One of the biggest things we'll ask all the time is, how many kids do you have? What are their ages? And when you start to hear about that preteen daughter, time to take a step back, evaluate a few things, and hopefully be able to sit down with her and let her understand that just because you're feeling this and you're feeling that doesn't make it wrong. Maybe you're feeling that someone's there with you all the time, watching over you, and you just want them to go away. But maybe we don't want them to go away. Maybe the emotions, maybe that's the only person that you can talk to. And we sit down and we talk with these kids, and we let them to understand that, we know they're not crazy. We try, and I encourage anybody who's a parent out there to sit and talk with your kid every day to make sure that they understand that their mind is still evolving, it's still adapting. They may tell you something that doesn't make any sense, or they may tell you something that makes a lot of sense. Makes you understand a little bit more about maybe what's going on and the fears they're having. Dad, there's a guy standing over me when I'm laying in bed. He's there all the time. A lot of parents will be like, it's just your imagination. It's time to grow up and be a man. Maybe it's not his imagination. Maybe it's time for them to be allowed to open up a little bit more. Sometimes just talking, letting them get that feeling out, and with a little empathy, just think back to when you were a child. Have your son or your daughter explain what that person looks like. Maybe you saw that same person. Are you living in the same house you grew up in? A lot of people are doing that these days. Mom and dad move out, homes for sale, they go ahead and they buy that home. Well, that's the home you grew up in. Well, now you're the dad or the mom. And now you're in charge. And you just moved your son or your daughter into the same room you grew up in, or in the same area of the house you grew up in. And now they're starting to feel things, hear things, smell things. And when they start describing it to you, you kind of look and go, I remember that. That's when maybe sometimes you have a chance to connect a little bit more. Talk to them. Tell them this, hey, I remember kind of sort of the same thing you're going through. Can you tell me about it? Let me understand what you're talking about. And if it starts to scare the crap out of you too, then you should be calling somebody. You should be giving a hold of one of us. We'll come talk. We'll come help out. Camera adjustment. I want to see that closet a little bit more because it's bugging me. Let us know. Let somebody know. Find a paranormal somebody that'll talk. You know what? Here's even a better one. Go to the church. If you're big into your church and you're strong and you're deep in your religious faith, go there. Talk there first. Sometimes just getting people to talk allows them to open up more, which now we're back to that whole psychology thing. What does that say about our psychology? Well, our psychological state of mind, each time we turn around and we do something, sometimes just opening up and talking allows us to relax more. It allows us the feelings to flow. What do you want to, if you want to break down and cry or laugh or, whatever, do it. Somebody might laugh at you. Somebody might think you're crazy. Or you'll get the same question we get each time. Yeah, you need to prove to me that ghosts exist. or spirits exist. Okay. Well, then I look right back at them and go, well, then if I'm going to have to prove it to you that they exist, I want you to prove to me they don't exist at the same time. I want you to physically prove they don't exist. Sometimes that stops people in their tracks. Sometimes I have to go a step further and go, do you believe in God? Yeah. Well, okay, you're telling me right now that you believe in God, but you say spirits don't exist. Ghosts don't exist. But yet each day you pray to the Father, or each Sunday. Some people won't go on Sundays. They think that's all they have to. Each day they pray to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, or the Holy Ghost. And that usually gets them to think sometimes. And it even makes me think. It makes me think about where I am spiritually in my life. But I just want people to think and people to open up and to understand a little bit about what is going on in their life. What is going on in other people's lives? What makes us do what we want to do each time? I've talked to some people that talk about how they're oh, I don't believe in this. But you're here and you came alone. And now you want to do you want to talk about the paranormal, but you don't believe in it. Well, I'm interested in it. Okay, not a problem. Let's get interested in it. Let's talk about certain things. Gets a conversation going. Gets people to understand certain things. It gets people to look at certain things. It gets people to open up. But when you get people to open up, the one thing you don't want to do. So let's just say I'm going to invite some people into my home to do a paranormal investigation. I'm hoping that whatever team they bring over, they bring a couple people to talk and a few people that weren't there. And those other two people are the ones that are going to lead the investigation later on to go through. Because a lot of times, because I told you, can get locked in someone's brain. That's one of the things that I love not doing when we do long overnight investigations is I love giving people the history of a location, because I think history is very, very big, but I also don't like giving all the history. I don't want to give names, what people are wearing, what they may look like. There's a little girl rides up and down the hallway on a tricycle. I don't want to tell them those things. I want them to come back and tell me that. Stuff that I already know. So I guess it's kind of like you look at what are the top reasons that people come back and go, I saw something. Well, the first one, again, is because I told you so. I told you it was there. Well, then the second reason is they come back and they go, all my equipment was going off. My EMF detector was going nuts. And then I have to look at them and go, okay, let's talk about your EMF detector, some of your equipment. Did you do a baseline sweep of that area? Did you walk around and see if something is there electricity running through the walls? Is there something over there that's going to cause your equipment to go off? Or did you just walk in and sit down and start talking? It's a slow process. People talk about my equipment was going off. I heard sounds. Oh, I heard this. I heard it. Did you get up and try to understand what that sound wasn't? Or what that sound might have been? One of the other reasons that happens is something that we call toxic hallucinations. Oh, here comes some bigger stuff. Toxic hallucinations. What the hell is that, Bill? Toxic hallucinations, such as, I don't know, carbon monoxide, formaldehyde, pesticides, paint, glues, rotting food, a dead animal, something that's going to stimulate your haunting-related perceptions. What you feel, what you hear, what you taste, what you smell. Is something manipulating that? That's why it's always good when you're going to do something. We carry, number one of the very first things we do when we go into a location, I carry it on my hip, is I have a carbon monoxide detector. I can't even say it. I turn it on outside in the open air, so I get my baseline reading out there and get it down to the level of, 0. And then I'll walk in and sit it down and just start talking, or I'll start stay in one place, or especially during the wintertime, I'll ask people, is your furnace okay? When did this start? When did this paranormal, when did this unnatural stuff that we're here to talk about, when did it come in when did it start with you and the kids? Well, it was about 3 weeks ago, and it really started getting cold, and then we started spending more time together, and then we're trying to stay warm. When's the last time you ran your furnace? When's the last time did you have your furnace checked? Did you change your filter? Is there a leak? Is it got good ventilation? Is there a bird nest outside in the pipe that sticks out? Is the exhaust? Is that causing that exhaust to come back in on you? Little tiny things. Did you just paint part of your house this winter? That we have had several investigations where we go and people were talking like, yeah, we're doing construction over there in that other side of the room. We put a blanket up to keep the smells over there. You put a blanket over a doorway to keep the smells and the vapors over there. You put a porous piece of cloth over a doorway to keep smells over and vapors. Do you go in and out of there? Is it sealed? Probably not. So we try to look at all the small things, every little tiny detail. And yes, I'm not going to lie, when we're walking around inside there, the one other thing I'm doing is smelling. Sorry, I said smell and I almost sneezed. We're smelling. We're smelling for different things. And we'll never call somebody out on it, because I don't feel that embarrassing somebody is the right way to do things. But we'll always sit there and we'll talk to them, and we'll talk about, I'll put in my little report, my little notes. There's a strong smell of dog urine, but it's coming from outside, but it's coming through that porch, which leads to their backyard. Or something's not right with that furnace. Now, if I find something not right with a furnace in the winter, or it's getting ready to be wintertime, or it's already wintertime, trust me, I'm going to tell you, the homeowner or whoever's there, I am going to say something right away, because that means not only are you in danger, but we're in danger at the same time. We don't want that to happen. But then if I walk in and somebody's putting up drywall, well, what's one thing that they use on drywall? Formaldehyde. It's one of the binding agents in the glue that holds it together. Now, a lot of companies are getting away. You can find formaldehyde-free drywall out there, which I think is great to use. The other one is paint and primers. And again, glues. Do you have a project room? Did the glue get left open? I do a lot of soldering. I do it up here, which is probably not the smartest thing to do, because solder puts off a vapor that can cause you to see things, not really hallucinate, but if you do it long enough, it can make you sick. So take a look at all those little tiny things. If you think you've been exposed to something toxic, then get checked. It can be as simple as a blood test. Very simple as a blood test. If you live especially on a farm, or you do outside work with any kind of chemicals? Are those chemicals on your clothes? Are they on your boots? Are those boots kept inside? Have you washed them lately? I'd like to see a show of hands of how many people actually have ever washed their boots. That's what I thought. Not a whole lot. So there's all those sorts of little things that you can do, that you can look at, that can cause yourself to have those paranormal experiences that go on. The biggest number one reason, again, is because I told you. And I know a lot of parents that use the whole adage, you know what? Time to go to sleep, Jimmy. Time to go to sleep. You don't want the monster under the bed to get you. What if Jimmy's already seen a monster underneath that bed? What if Jimmy's already scared to death of that monster underneath that bed? Well, now you've just made it worse. Now you've just put in his mind that what he thinks he sees and he's trying to forget, you just validated. Mom said something about a monster in my bed, and I know I've seen it there. There's a monster underneath my bed. I don't want the monster to get me. Because I told you so. Then take a look around you at the different... Right now I'm sitting in a room surrounded by electronics. Is it healthy? Well, it doesn't set off my meter, so it's probably not that strong. We did an investigation one time where we were looking at a house from the front, but didn't know it was in the backyard until we went around the back and found out that there's a power substation in the back. Well, of course, every one of my meters is going to go nuts because it's a lot of power. That's probably not good to live there. I'm not saying you should move. I'm not saying any of that. But remember, an EMF detector, the very first, the one thing that's the biggest thing that we use when we do paranormal investigations, was not made for paranormal investigations. It's not what it was designed to do. It was designed to detect electromagnetic fields and electromagnetic static for dangerous levels. That's why there's all them different lights on there. All these little different lights that are on the front of this thing. From the dark blue to the green, the yellow, and then the red. Red being very bad. And you can look all this up online. It's all out there talking about it. At what levels should you be living at? What levels should any of us live at? I honestly don't think any of us should live at any levels of electromagnetic fields or electricity, especially where we sleep. How much is that messing with you? You know, you get a lot of kids that stay up all night and they think they're hiding that tablet from mom and dad because they can't see me. They don't know I'm on it. They know you're on it. Come on, kids. Moms and dads ain't that stupid. This isn't their first rodeo, and they tried to hide things when they were younger. We just didn't have all this electronic stuff. But the world is filled full of electronics now. It seems like everything's electronic. You electric toothbrush. I mean, I think you can even buy an electric toilet brush. I don't know how that would work. That'd have to tickle just a little bit. But check out everything. If you're using an EMF detector and there's no readings anywhere, and then you sit down and you decide to do a session, and all of a sudden it's going off, well, you already did your baseline reading. You've already done your sweep, and nothing came up. Well, guess what? You may have somebody there talking with you. And I hear a lot of people talk about that you should not invite them in. You shouldn't, and you shouldn't. If they're there, maybe they're trying to invite you in. Maybe they're trying to invite you out. I don't know. I don't know how that works. But look at things in different ways. If you're not comfortable doing an investigation, if you're not comfortable meditating, if you're not comfortable sleeping around a lot of electronics, if you're not comfortable sleeping without the electronics, some people aren't. I have one big piece of electronic that I have to sleep with, and that's a fan, because I have to have that noise. Year-round, we have a fan going. But if you're not comfortable without the sound, if you're not comfortable with the sound, don't do it, obviously. I guess I'm wandering here on my talk, and I apologize for that. My brain's going 15 different directions at one time here. If you're not comfortable doing that investigation, let's just say this straight out. Don't. Find someone who is comfortable doing it. Find someone who you can trust, and check out the groups. I don't know how many times we have to say that. You should be checking out these groups. Are they legit? Is this a bunch of college students just threw a paranormal group together one night because they got drunk and watched Paranormal Lockdown? And, oh, we can do that. Is it a bunch of people that just wander around thinking, I think I'm a medium, I think I'm a psychic, I think I'm a channeler, I think I'm whatever. Hey, let's go give this a shot. And oh, I felt something. What did it feel like? Well, it felt like something was crawling up my arm, not realizing it was a bug crawling up the back of their arm. That they felt like a finger. Oh, we can do this. You want to try to find a group of people that you can put your trust into. Number one, you're trusting a group of people you don't know to come into your own home. You're trusting a group of people to come into your own home that might ask you, we would like you to leave for a little while and entrust us to be in your home around your possessions and your things without you here. Can you trust people to do that? I have family members that I don't trust to do that. Most people do. So you have to try to build that trust level once you check them out and do your background check. Ask them for references. Treat it like anything. You wouldn't have somebody build an addition onto your home without getting references and doing your background checks. Would you? I wouldn't. So, just take it slow. Again, if the kids are what's causing, or you think are the problem, where you think that, do we have a teenager? Or just talk with the kids. Or just give us a call. Just because you call and want somebody to talk to doesn't make you crazy. Just means you want to understand. In the long run, you may be fine. You may be 100% fine. We may be able to find something that's going on there that you didn't think about, that you weren't realizing. We keep smelling these strange odors, and we're not quite sure what's going on, and it's getting really nasty, and it only happens at certain times. Well, when does it happen? Well, our son, he comes home, and our daughter's home, and everybody's home relaxing, and we try to go to bed, and all of a sudden there's just a strange feeling that comes over everybody. Is your son smoking dope in his bedroom? If he is, you should call me so we can share. Just kidding. Maybe. Haha. But is there something going on there that we're not sure of? Talk to people. Talk to your neighbors casually. Some people will think I don't want to talk to my neighbors because they think I'm going to be crazy. But what if they're going through the same thing? What if late at night you're guaranteeing you're seeing a guy standing there in a Civil War uniform and he's staring at you, and then he's gone? Well, what if your neighbor's seeing the same thing a few minutes later or a few minutes before, and he's just going house to house and he's looking for something? Is that a residual haunting? Is a haunting that just is there and doesn't realize it's still there, and it's just like an imprint that plays over and over and over and over again every single night? Or just at a certain time on one certain day because that's where he walked through, was that area? Or is it an intelligent haunting that is kind of trying to tell you, hey, we're watching over you, we're guiding you, we're helping you, we're there for you? Or is it, for lack of better terms, a demonic haunting, which I hate using that word? Because is it a haunting that is trying to push you away, is trying to not allow you to do what you want to do in your life, with your kids, with your families? Take it a step back. Call someone. Again, like you said in the very beginning, if you're willing and you're wanting to open yourself up a little bit more to try to understand this stuff, and maybe even just help you out a little bit of guidance through life, try meditation. Again, that lady that I talked about in the very beginning, her name was Laura Evans, and it's a Medium Laura Evans podcast. You can find her out there on the internet. She got pages and pages of different types of meditations. But take it slowly. If you're going to start doing the meditation, take it slowly. If you're well into the meditation and you're the only one doing it in your family, then try to help. Maybe bring your kids in on it. Maybe bring your husband in on it. Or your wife, or your lover, or your friends, or your friend's wife's lover. I don't know. Bring them in on it. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. We got less than a minute left, and I got to get off the air. Thank you guys out there. Again, thank you to all the men and women serving around the world. Thank you to guys here on Facebook Live that have been with me for over an hour. You guys are awesome. I thank you guys very much. We'll be back again next week. Hopefully Shannon's feeling better. Shannon, we love you. We miss you. Get feeling better. Guys, the only thing I got left to say is, hey, be safe. Keep between the ditches, and I'll see you in the dark. Good night, everybody.